Hello.
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 How y'all doing?
Anxious.
Doing great.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm anxious, Brett.
I too am also anxious with things that are going on. This is something
Yes.
that has been in the back of my mind, as the viewers I know have been in the back of their mind for like the entire evening. So yeah, this is something that we needed to do between sessions, because a lot has this impacts a lot of things. What happened at the end of the last session. I will also tell the viewers, if you haven't watched last night's episode, I would recommend going now and watching that and leaving this stream right now, because a lot of shit went down last session. So we're just gonna dive in. We're just gonna begin with the literal aftermath of what happened. So after the events of yesterday, Tremor, you, from what I understand, and correct me, you left. You essentially you went through the time reversal. You heard everything that was said. You saw what happened with Gideon, and you, after everyone went to Al, you just kind of like went off and went to your room. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we talked a bit afterwards about what we saw and heard, because I think we got kind of conflicting reports
Okay.
in the moment of
Yeah.
what exactly Tremor did see and remember of the time rewrite. Because at first it seemed like he saw the whole conversation, and then I was told that he didn't see the conversation.
So
I think his reaction would be a little bit different depending.
honestly, and that would be, it would tie everything in a nice little bow if it was that. I like the idea that as you were all frozen in time, Tremor could hear it and hear the message that was given at this point, and heard the words, Tremor is not ready. Gideon, it has to be you. You have to have this thrust upon you. And I think that is something that Tremor would have heard and echoed in his mind at this point. So is that something that Tremor would have still, like, after, I mean, it literally, time dilation is extremely, I would say, weird, but that is definitely a statement that you've heard echoed in your mind over and over. And now with Levin disappearing and Gideon taking on this transformation, what would you think? What would Tremor do? And you feel free to change anything at this point.
Well, he definitely would have stormed off. I think he'd go back to his room. He'd lock it. He'd put a magical barrier on it if he could.
Yeah.
And he would just immediately, I think, get back to work. With his necromantic practices.
What?
He'd probably pop Ellie out and manifest her, just to have someone around that he can rely on.
I think when you manifest Ellie, she would probably, like, I'm looking for the token, but I think she could tell something is wrong. And you would kind of begin to, like, see her sign at you, like, kind of just asking, like, what happened, what's wrong.
He would ignore it. I think he'd be like, his initial reaction probably be like to go over the bookshelf and fucking throw books on the floor. Like, just make an absolute mess of the room. Just go fucking ham.
So at that point, you would just see, like, Ellie continue to, like, walk over to you, and is just trying to, like, sign again, what's wrong, what happened. He would be very insistent. And are you kind of like in a blind rage at this point, would you say?
Yeah. I think he would calm down a little bit, seeing her insistence, and managed to sign back to her. Probably just the simple message that I wasn't strong enough and I need to work.
How, in Tremor's history, because it's been a year now, especially with how he's been developing, has he had these sort of like rage fits before? Would you say like these not rage fits,
No.
but like these outbursts? This is the first time.
No.
All right. I think yeah.
Levin has been a calming influence on him and has helped him kind of focus and rein in, the anger he has. And so in his mind, to have Levin talk about him in that way to Gideon and to basically say he's not ready, he's not capable of this responsibility, even though in his mind, that's what he's been training for. That's what he's been preparing for, is the eventual, stepping up and being a responsible adult. And to have the only person that he trusted to, to guide him there, say that he didn't have it, has sent him over the deep end. So
yeah,
that was like every angsty energy, all the anger bottled up, that had previously been contained and focused into, work, is bubbling over, and he's just, he's inconsolable.
Right. I think Ellie would also recognize that, as you've had like, I think Tremor at some point in times would probably have had difficulty like demonstrating feelings and emotions because he's still growing up. So I think Ellie would
he
seen that.
definitely isn't good at communicating his emotions.
But this is
I would say it hasn't turned into violent outrage until this moment.
Yeah, I think Ellie would also recognize that and just kind of step aside for now, quietly. And she'll just stand over here and continue to watch you work. And she'll sign to you 4 words. And it just is, I believe in you. And then she'll put her hands down.
He will, he's gonna dive back into what he was doing before this whole cosmic horror thing began. The pursuit of how to restore a soul to a body, with free will and not temporary zombie shit, like full, reanimation of a corpse. And yeah, he's gonna dive back into that, and he's not gonna sleep for as long as he can.
Right. I would say at that point in time, Gideon, I spoke with you of what you would do after reuniting with Al and everyone. You would see that without a word, Tremor has stormed off. And even you mentioned that you could tell he was angry, that he was upset. You were going, what do you do?
I think after seeing, Al come through the portal, Al's alive, everything's fine, there's no one else coming. Gideon would have asked the others to stay where they are, and if any portals start opening up, you'll have time to dispel them because of the time difference. And definitely, he would start walking back towards the academy, and I think once he was alone, you would be able to see like his hands trembling at his side. And so he doesn't know that Tremor heard any of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think more so Gideon's shaken by the fact that Levin is gone, but I think Gideon would end up stopping like once he set foot into the school, and he'd want to like search inside himself, like, is Levin actually gone? Am I Levin? Like, what I don't know. What does Gideon
this
feel?
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and assess by making an Arcana check.
Okay.
It's still very unknown what has happened. Your skin pigment has turned blue. You have felt the horns kind of like grow out of your head. The only thing I could say is it feels as if Levin is absent, but at the same time, a familiar like deja vu of Levin is washed over you, but it's very uncertain what it is. And as you begin to like really focus into what has happened, a pain stabs at your heart, to the point where it almost knocks you down. And then the pain subsides.
I feel that physically.
You physically feel as if something has stabbed like straight through your heart, as if someone came up with a knife and impaled you in your chest. And then that pain sort of like just fades and it dissipates.
Okay. Gideon would probably gasp at that. Visibly shaken more. But even more so would try to head towards Tremor's dorm.
Okay. You would get over to Tremor's door. What would you do?
I think first Gideon would collect himself outside and then knock.
Tremor, you would hear a knock at your door.
Is it a knock or is it the spell knock?
Just a regular old-fashioned knock.
Okay. I think he would ignore the first knock.
Fair. Tremor. And I'd knock again.
You hear the voice of Gideon on the other side as the knock continues.
Oh boy. What would he do? Why does flip not work?
I can flip.
He would walk over and kind of growl like, "Not now."
Tremor, and I think Gideon would just like, I almost think that you could hear Gideon, I wouldn't say crying, but like choking up. Tremor. Please, I don't know what's going on.
He'll sigh and open the door.
Thank you. Flip wasn't working for me either.
Just go back to his work, not looking at him.
Mm-hmm. Let's step in. Do I see Ellie?
Yes. Yep. She's a ghost.
Okay.
And you saw her in combat a few sessions ago as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, Gideon would just like nod, but then divert his eyes. He'd nod, but not like looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a little weird for him to see her. Tremor, what? I don't know. I look like Levin. then I think Gideon would just proceed to tell everything that Levin said during the time the time turning.
Would you tell him everything?
Yeah, Gideon 100% would tell you everything. So at any point, if there's something that Gideon would say when he's recollecting, if that's something you want to interject on, like we'll just take it from there, I guess. In case I missed something that you heard that I don't remember as the player.
So do you want me to recap what was said to you?
No, I
that'd
remember.
be. I think Criken can remember.
Yeah, okay,
I don't want to recap and then I skip something.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I think he would wait till you were done, because he'll realize you don't know that he knows everything that happens. He remembers it all. And so he wanted to see if you would be honest about everything. And assuming you are, like, then I think he will, like, relax his shoulders a little bit to know at least you're not actively trying to swindle him too. Or at least that's not your overt attempt, you know?
Yeah. He definitely. Gideon is definitely just like, I need to tell Tremor everything because Levin was one of the last, for the player, but for the characters, like over the past year, right? It's been me, you, and Levin.
Right.
That was the only constant between, like, not that we were seeing each other that much, but we were familiarity since being in IO.
Right.
So now one of those pieces are gone. He just, like, Gideon's overwhelmed.
Yeah. I would, like, Tremor's basically, like, on, like, high alert, like, like an animal that's, like, preparing to attack, like, backed into a corner. So, just body language wise, definitely tense. But he's listening, not looking at you, but listening to everything you're saying. And I guess when you're done, he'll, like, slowly put down what he was working on, and then, like, move to kind of face you. Just say, I heard it all. I heard what he said to you. What he chose to do.
I don't know. I know what Levin said, but I think he was wrong. I don't want to be a headmaster. I have so much more studying to do. I mean, look at your room. It's evidence that you have passion. And so I'm reading your body language that you're tense. Tremor, what?
I think he's glaring at you when you say that.
Okay.
He would chime in, like, it doesn't matter if you think you're ready. You're the responsible one. You're the one keeping this place together. I'm just a fuck up.
Tremor, you have to know that Levin didn't think that of you. And I think, like, when I say that, I would once again, like, try to see if I can connect, like, if any part of Levin is actually in me, like memories, emotions, something.
Okay. At this point, as you begin to focus, trying to attune yourself into some form of Levin, go ahead and make another Arcana check, but do so at an advantage.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Okay. So as you begin to connect, Levin's face just kind of, like, pops into your mind. And, like, him looking down and looking up to you. And just as that connection is made, you feel it again. The piercing pain in your heart, as if someone is just stabbing you repeatedly. And it's enough pain to like almost bring you to your knees.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that much pain, I think Gideon would fall to a knee and like, ugh, and hold his chest. But then I'm guessing does the pain subside again?
It subsides, but you still are feeling it. It's manageable, but it feels like it's getting worse than the last time you were making the connection. A voice will echo in your mind. It's a whisper. It says to show him. And you feel a light kind of begin to form in your hand.
Yeah, I guess Gideon would just like hold out his hand. And he's, Tremor, you need to see this?
He wouldn't move.
Is it like a small light where like
It is.
Okay, I would walk over and then hold my hand out.
Okay, he'll look at the light.
And at that point, as you're just like looking into the light, nothing seems to be happening. Like you just see a light in his hand.
Some kind of joke.
I don't know.
The whisper insists in your mind, Gideon. Show him.
Gideon would walk here, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Tremor,
Reach out.
trust me. And then I'm gonna attempt to put my hand like on his head the way that the headmaster did to me, the way that Levin did to me.
Try to break my AC. Should dodge out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and make the melee touch.
What is that? Just my strength?
It's like an attack roll, as if you were making a melee attack.
Oh, so just a D20.
Yeah, it's an unarmed strike. It should be on your character sheet. Just go ahead and.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Yep. I see it now. My bad. Wait.
That's not right.
That was the damage.
That was the damage. Yeah, you want to.
Oh, you're right. Okay. It's like, oh my.
Ooh, crit. Okay, you win this one.
That's crazy.
You grab hold at that point, and an image begins to flood. Now, here's the next question, though. Tremor, this feels as if someone is attempting to communicate with you. Do you allow it in, or do you resist?
I resist.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
And I would try to pull away as soon as I recognize that.
As the image tries to flood into your mind, you hear the voice of Levin trying to speak to you. And then you cut it off immediately, and then you're able to back away now.
Get out. Get out.
I think Gideon would just slump his shoulders. Yeah, he would definitely listen to Tremor.
But at that point, you would just see Gideon leave the room as he just slowly walks out. The pain's still there.
I think right before he leaves, he would just say, I'm sorry, Tremor. That's it, really.
Okay. Gideon, would you return to your room?
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Tremor, what are you doing?
I think He's gonna think on what just happened a little bit, but it hasn't changed anything in his mind.
Mhm.
He would go back to work. He wouldn't sleep.
All right.
I think he's just,
Angry.
like fanatical in his resolution that he has to crack this code.
Okay. So Tremor continues his work in his room. Gideon, you return to your room, and this pain that is weighing upon your heart it's heavy, and it hasn't changed.
I think first Gideon would probably take a seat and hold his chest, and I don't think he'd full once again, he's not someone that's gonna full out weep, but he's just gonna like, I don't know, you ever just sit there and you just feel heavy
Mm-hmm.
and like you don't cry but you can feel it in your throat?
Mm-hmm.
That like, man, it would feel so good to cry right now, but Gideon
Nothing's
won't.
coming
He'll
out.
just, yeah. So I think after sitting there for just a bit, not too long, few minutes, he gives himself, he'd want to go to his meditation circle, and he'd want to still try to communicate with Levin. Like, it's the only thing. Tremor doesn't want to talk to him, and the only thing he can think to do is to try to reach out to Levin.
As you begin to meditate and focus yourself within the time, at that point you would just feel this sort of like scrying magic fill your mind as you see the face of Levin once again. And as you meditate, the pain in your heart gets heavier. It gets harder to focus. And you black out.
Wow.
You wake up. You seem to be somewhere unfamiliar. You're free to make any sort of astral check. Or not astral, sorry. Any arcana check.
Yeah. If I feel like I'm awake, then yeah, I want to just like get a sense of where, like, what this air is. Is it familiar? Is it Io? Am I somehow, was this all just a dream?
With a 12, first you notice the pain in your heart has subsided.
Okay.
But it's muted. Like, it's definitely something still there, but it's way more manageable than it was before. And with the arcana check, you're someplace you've never been, but it also feels as if it was forgotten by time. But you also can tell that this is happening in your mind, that it is your meditation that you're feeling right now.
Okay. Are these beds made or unmade?
They are unmade.
Okay. I think, yeah, Gideon's seen the doorway. He'd move out. Whoa. Levin?
You walk out over to what appears to be an astral landscape like before, except everything seems green and lush. Levin would just...
I still can't flip my character for some reason, but it's okay. Levin!
He'll sit down.
Levin. Did he ask me to sit down, or he just sat down?
Oh, he sat down, and as he looks at you, just kind of pats the bench.
Yeah, I'll take a seat.
Where's Tremor?
He wanted me to leave. He didn't want to see. He didn't want to hear you.
He'll look down and just sigh. That is what I was afraid of. But suppose I understand. He looks forward and gives a big sigh. You know,
Levin, what? Go ahead.
He goes, I have to thank you.
For what?
You'll look ahead to see what appears to be a young girl, blue of skin, and just like Levin, and just kind of like wandering around the forest. With your
Levin, who is that?
With your time magic and my scrying ability. Haven't seen her this detailed. He smiles. No, that was my daughter. Before the great burn that scorched our astral landscape. This is one of my fondest memories with her.
And you were able to create this place with my time magic?
He'll nod. It's still just a memory, but it feels real. I wanted to experience it one last time. He'll scowl as he looks over to you. Gideon.
Levin. Oh, go ahead. We keep.
Sorry. No, go on. You go first. He won't say anything, but yeah, you go on.
Okay. Levin, I know I told you I could be the headmaster, but I'm not built for that. I have no idea the things you did for the school. I wouldn't know the first place to start. I wouldn't be with I wouldn't be with Tremor. I wouldn't be with Al. I'd be in your office all day, and Tremor thinks that you thought so little of him, and I don't know if he's gonna listen to reason.
He'll look over to you. I know that, and I realize that. At that moment, I was in a bit of panic. And I knew that something needed to be done if we were to save Al. And so, in a moment of emotion, I gave myself to you. And just simply assumed that would be what needed to be. I would be a part of you, you would be the headmaster, we would continue with business as normal. Yeah, if it meant that we could bring Al back from the brink of death. He looks out to his daughter again. Before he looks at you. The truth is, you're not ready to be the headmaster. Neither of you are.
I could have told you that.
He smiles. I put a big responsibility on your shoulder, Gideon, and to that, I'm sorry.
So it's, like you said, it was a moment of panic.
Well, he looks out. It was a moment that, if presented, I would have done again. If that meant keeping Aldoris alive. If that meant keeping any of you alive.
Levin, this past year, I have been obsessed with learning how to control and master time so that I could undo mistakes and help people. But no mistake is never truly undone, is it? And I think at that point, Gideon will sit back down on the bench. I've spent
He'll smile, but continue.
I've spent a whole year thinking that I could master an art that would remove cost from the equation, but cost is always part of the equation. Without it, there is no equation, is there?
He sits down. Everything has a price. It's just unfortunate that you had to learn it this way. But perhaps the most volatile lesson is the best way to learn. What is Gideon doing?
I think he's just like, he's washed with this. I don't want to call it desperation, but just like the realization that he literally was chasing, you know, like a golden fig, like something that doesn't exist. But after contemplating on that, he'll just pick his head up. So, Levin, what now? You know that I can't be the headmaster, and Tremor needs you. I know he wouldn't let me show you whatever it is you were going to let him see through me, but I think if you were there, if there was some way to bring you back.
He'll sigh. I have been alone for over 1,000 years after the loss of my daughter, after the Great Burn. Alone in my archives, documenting and collecting the history of our astral veil. And I was content with that. It wasn't until 4 bright-eyed, panicked students came to my front gate that I began to understand I may have more of a purpose than what I was given. What you need to understand, and I say this because I fear it is the last time I will have a chance to tell you and to tell Tremor, but he'll just look at the empty bench and frown. That in this past year, I have come very quickly to love and cherish you as I did my own daughter. You and Tremor, and Eldoris and Eleonora. One of my most recent regrets is that I could only bring 2 of you. When I saw Eldoris lying there dead, it was something that I wasn't prepared for. Cosmicara, the Astral Veil, Io itself, it didn't matter. All that I cared about was to bring back what I swore to protect. And I'm afraid in doing so, I have put you in a great danger. Gideon, your form, your body, it can't handle my power, not yet. So, I need to leave. I need to leave you. I need to leave Tremor. And I need you to, along with Al, find your own way. Because the longer I stay here, the more your body will destabilize. However, I do have something I've been working on in the event of my, at this point, inevitable demise that I can go ahead and show you to activate. I don't know if it is ready yet, but I can show you. And he'll look down.
Yeah, Gideon's super overwhelmed, and he like he grabbed his chest once Levin mentioned his body. But Gideon will just nod. He won't say anything. He'll just.
Tremor is a great weight upon his soul that I've been trying to break for the past year now. I feel the guilt upon him of what happened in your academy. At this point, what felt so long ago and what's compelled him forward in his studies and in his magics. I just wanted to be a guiding hand. I hope he returns from this. And I'll look down.
As do I, Levin. I still don't understand. What do you mean you're going, you're leaving?
Well, as of right now, the only way that you can see me is because I am with you. I am in you. I am a part of you. But these magics that I'm composed of, it's just not compatible with you. In the cosmic scheme of things, you're still so young. And while you've made strides, your power is only beginning to evolve. So I need to leave. I need to go somewhere else. I need to be dispersed.
Is there some way we can collect you? Like how Tremor has Ellie in that flask? Is there anything we can do to keep you until we find a way to put you in a body that doesn't break apart?
He smiles. That could work. But in the end, the decision would have to be up to Tremor.
He would want to save you, of course. Of course he would.
He'll sigh and look at his daughter one more time before he looks back at you. If that weren't to work, the secondary option that will assist you against Cosmicara, that will continue to operate at the academy on a more of a administrative level. It is a construct that I've been developing for the past century. I can show you where it is and how to activate it. I call it my inevitable. I've been placing in memories and information about you and all the other students about our fight against Cosmicara and the Astral Academy itself. Its first action, of course, would be to probably, more than likely, close off the Academy. Especially while this threat was still here. You all, of course, would stay here, continue your focus, and I would hope continue preparing for your fight against Cosmicara. You wish to speak with Tremor one more time. I know I would appreciate that if I can say one last thing to him. But if not, it is vital you go over to the inevitable chamber.
And where... Of course I'll try to speak with him, but where's this chamber if he doesn't let me show you him?
At that point, Levin will instruct you the secret location of the chamber. The secret passages that you have to take, but it is deep. Not deep, but it's underneath the academy in the mountain.
Okay.
He will smile one last time. I will keep yourself steady, but only for a limited amount of time. I'm afraid you're going to have to act now, Gideon. I'm sorry for putting this on you. Activate the inevitable. It will do what it needs to do to take care of you, including purging my power from you, that you may continue to live.
You know, Levin, for moments of panic, you really screwed it up. Even as far as those moments go.
He'll look forward and smile a little bit. Maybe that was my one flaw. The four of you. I would do anything for you. He'll nod.
Gideon will stand up, I guess, because he has to leave. But if Levin stands up, Gideon will try to embrace Levin.
Yeah, he'll stand up and give you one final hug as well.
Yeah. I guess I'll see you. Levin, are we going to be able to get you back after all of this cosmic aura? No, it doesn't matter. Tremor will know what to do. Tremor will find a way to put you. You'll be fine. I know it. Gideon will just start like going back as if like he needs to go to the carpet in order to leave this place because it's a circle.
Yeah. At that point, you will begin to awaken. Within your room.
Gideon would just stand to his feet if he can, and he would just bolt as fast as he could to Tremor's room.
You run through the hall.
How long was I blacked out for?
I would say it's been about an hour.
Okay. So then I guess check it. I guess like I don't know what Tremor's done for the past hour as far as because he was digesting what was happening.
He'd still be working on conquering death.
What would Tremor's general demeanor? What would you think would be?
I think stoicism at this point. It's kind of burned off. The anger is burned off to a numbness, but like there's still a fire inside that's only being kept at bay by the focus of work.
Just at that point, that focus broken. Gideon, do you knock or what do you do?
Yeah, I like a hard knock, and I scream out, Tremor, there's not a lot of time.
Can't you just reset it?
No, you don't understand. Levin's leaving. I'm going to become normal again. My body cannot handle him, and I want to know if you can contain his soul. The way you did with Ellie's.
If I can contain his soul. He'll look to Ellie, kind of like rolling his eyes.
And then Ellie just at that point just looks down.
He'll open the door with Mage Hand from afar.
Okay. Yeah, Gideon, exasperated, running in. He closes his eyes and tries to like focus that light again in his hand.
I don't want to talk to him.
The light doesn't manifest itself.
You're not going to put him in my head.
He's not staying in my head, and he wouldn't stay in yours. I just got to speak with him for what felt like a couple of minutes, but he did want to speak with you one last time. He said this was the last time he would be able to speak with us.
I'm done letting him puppet me around. I listened to everything he said for a full year. And what was it worth? Couldn't even save Al. Couldn't save him.
I mean, Tremor, it wasn't your fault that you weren't the one to save Al. It was in the heat of battle. Levin even said, in a moment of panic, he said everything that he said. And I'm not ready to be the headmaster. So any sentiment that you feel about him degrading you, he just did it to my face. But that doesn't matter. This school needs Levin. Levin is bigger than us. So please, Gideon's just like struggling, really trying to focus to get this light. Like,
nothing comes up.
it's Gideon, not Shady. Well, so when Levin described how far away the inevitable was, is it like gonna take me a long time to get there?
It'll probably be about a 15-20 minute trek through the building.
Okay. Tremor, there's something called the inevitable that I need to turn on as soon as possible, but I feel as though Levin will be leaving me before I can even make it there. And my heart is in so much pain because apparently my body's not good enough to hold Levin's magic. Did you... Is there nothing you can do?
Up too. It's gonna drag you down with him.
No, Levin said he's going to be leaving me before that happens. So you have no desire. After everything Levin has done, you only view him as a villain because of one panicked conversation, because of one decision. I know we didn't spend a lot of time together over the past year, but I would think that Levin was with you as much as he was with me. Checking in and...
Yeah. I thought I knew him. What do you need?
I don't know what I need. I don't want Levin to just die for nothing. I'm not familiar with your studies of magic, but somehow you were able to... And he points at Ellie. Is there anything like that you can do to me?
Do I have any other phylacteries, Brett?
You have a variety of phylacteries from the studies that you've been creating. That you have been experimenting and messing around with. You have one... Hold on one sec. Let me see how many you would have successfully created during the year. You would have successfully created 6 phylacteries, and I would say one of them would probably be like your choice, able to maintain a soul without any sort of like soul degradation.
I think he'd go and wrestle around and produce it.
You would... What, Tremor, what would this phylactery look like? Because you've been, I would say you've probably been working on one for a particular reason.
I think their intention was for the students left behind at the school originally. I don't think he knows a whole lot about phylacteries, so he'd probably have learned it based on what he got Ellie in, pretty much. As well as whatever the books here have, and he'd probably base his design of a phylactery kind of roughly off that, but with his own classic Tremor spin on it. So, yeah.
Okay. So you go ahead and produce the phylactery, and then Gideon, what do you do?
So how do we put him inside of there?
Go ahead and give me some Arcana checks. Gideon, give me an Arcana check, and Tremor, give me one at advantage. Oh. So Gideon and Tremor, between the two of you, using a focus of necromancy, you can channel sort of like whatever the excess power is within yourself, Gideon, into this phylactery, being able to hold the soul of Levin. You would have to be careful though, because if the phylactery either backfires during this ritual, it could take your soul as well.
And you're saying that we would both be aware of that because of our roles?
Correct.
This ritual doesn't come without its danger. Do you really want to risk your own soul for him?
I learned that everything that it's going to come with a price. And to be honest, I think Levin might have more of an impact on this place and all of Io than I ever would. So if it does come to that, but I trust you, Tremor. I don't. You can do this.
I think his eyes will clear a little bit at that. He'll kind of nod. All right, let's begin.
All right. At that point, Gideon, you would go over to the phylactery, place your hand upon it, and what we are going to need is Tremor to channel the excess power from Gideon into the phylactery. So, Tremor, go ahead and give me some Arcana checks at an advantage. We'll start with one advantage Arcana check. Ooh. So with with a 25, the power itself is beginning to become channeled from Gideon, with no sort of consequence or degradation. And then I need one more Arcana check at an advantage, please. Okay. Oof. So with an 11, you begin to it seems to be working until something feels amiss. And Gideon, you are starting to feel your heart palpitating, like that stabbing happening again, as if something has gone awry. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please. At that point in time, it's you just feel the pain in your chest as the soul is channeling. So the options are, and I will leave it up to Tremor, since he's the one casting the ritual. Tremor, you can continue the ritual. You'll still be rolling at advantage though. But as you see, it's starting to wane a little bit. If you are successful at this, you'll have finished the phylactery, you'll have the soul. If you fail at this, we'll have to once again do another check with Gideon. And if that continues to fail, this could end up killing Gideon. So the question is, do you continue the ritual? You're very close to being done with it, but it still, as you see, has its own consequences.
Oh boy, that's a tough decision.
And Gideon, you can also say something as well if you want to input.
I'm just looking at my features and traits. I mean, I think when Gideon feels that, he would like stutter a little bit and grab his chest, but he would have like a faint smile. Because he genuinely doesn't think that Tremor's gonna fail.
It's gonna make it a lot worse if he does.
He also wants to know, or Shady wants to know, if I have one more use of Chronal Shift left.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use that during this process at all?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I feel like because I didn't do it in time with me doing my Constitution save, we've already had this build up. I'm not going to use it for that, but I do have a Chronal Shift available that I can use.
Okay.
Yeah. Because what Tremor will be doing is making an ability check, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And if I do force him to reroll, does he get to reroll again on advantage?
Yes, he does.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to Tremor, Gideon's life matters more than Levin's now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's afraid of the risk, but he's more afraid of backing down and fulfilling this like perception that he can't do it. So I think he'd step up and try it again.
Okay. Please give
All right.
me an Arcana check at advantage. And with a 21, the ritual is complete. And Tremor, you now have the Levin phylactery.
Gideon,
Kinda
just
look
take a
at
really
it.
deep breath.
What does Gideon look like?
So as you're channeling this from him, you didn't notice this, but the horn started to shrink back down into his head. So it's left 3 sort of like scars around his head and one on his forehead of where the horns used to be. His skin is not as blue as it was, but some blue has remained. It kind of looks a little more pale than anything. But yes, he still has gone through a physical transformation.
Tremor will put the phylactery away in one of his pockets. So small now. So fragile.
I think Gideon will compose himself. I'm guessing I feel extremely
Oh, it's
drained.
like you're drained, but a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. It doesn't no longer feels like you're being like stabbed.
In the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Gideon would just like kind of adjust his posture and then put a hand on Tremor's shoulder.
He'll kind of flinch.
Mm-hmm. I knew you could do this, Tremor. There's
A ways
literally
to
no
go.
one. There's no one else I would have trusted with my life to do what you just did.
Kind of nodded that solemnly. Takes that seriously. I don't blame you for the things he said. I know you didn't ask for it. You were just trying to help. I would have done the same. I asked to do the same. We're good, Gideon. I'll do whatever I can to help you. And I guess Al, now that he's back, kind of looks around the room. Maybe don't bring him by here yet.
Gideon chuckles. Yeah, I think we have a lot of catching up to do with Al. I don't even know how much time has exactly passed in IO that he was able to infiltrate that organization, but don't and Tremor, don't let the words of others. It's hard. Gideon like knows his own history and he just like never mind, Tremor. I believe in you and I think Ellie does too. And I can't flip, but I would turn around and I'd smile at Ellie.
Mm-hmm. She would nod.
Ellie doesn't have much of a choice. Looks sad at Ellie.
Ellie will, at the moment you say that, visibly roll her eyes, as you have probably said this a couple of times. And she'll just give you a thumbs up, Gideon.
Cool.
So
there's
go on.
that machine, the inevitable, that I'm supposed to turn on because, well, the school has no headmaster. Apparently there's a construct that's going to do all the things that Levin was doing. Tremor. And then as I say that, I would turn back around. Would you ever want to be the headmaster here?
Maybe in a different life. I don't think I'm cut out for it.
All right, continue. Apparently.
I thought we were doing like a dream scenario.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what happened. I was like, wait,
no.
where like he said a different life and then it went out and I'm like, oh, we're going that route. Okay, cool.
You begin to imagine that different life. No, continue. Sorry.
Well, you've got at least 2 people in here that would believe in you if that's what you wanted. I just know that, well, that would never be my cup of tea. But Headmaster Tremor, Gideon kind of like chuckles, not in a way like, ha, that makes no sense, but just knowing Tremor's expression a lot whenever he's talking about things and how edgy he is. You would definitely bring a great flavor to the school, that's for sure.
Would be a menace. They would grovel beneath my feet. A tyrant.
Is Tremor like, what is his expression when he's saying this? Is he like, this is what he would want to be, or is he like beating himself up while he's
fucking with you?
Yeah, Gideon's not sure. Gideon's like, but they would learn and be safe, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, do you want to come help me? Should we go back to the others? Should we turn on this inevitable?
I need some time. And he kind of takes out the Levin phylactery and just stares at it.
I understand. Tremor, thank you again for even doing this.
Yeah. Thanks for risking your soul, I guess. You know, I've never actually done that before, so, you know.
Wait, I thought...
No, I found Ellie that way. That was my first.
I never had any doubts. And Gideon's like, he turns around to leave and he's like shaking.
All right, so Gideon, do you head over to the inevitable chamber then to turn it on?
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's the next thing he would do because Levin made it sound like it's super important. Holy Hannah.
You would walk into what appears to be a very large automaton.
And how did Levin say I would activate this thing?
The automaton has a couple of like energy crystals in its chest cavity. That all you would have to do is shatter and it would activate the inevitable.
Oh, well, I would go ahead and shatter them with glacial decay.
You see
if
this?
I can, or can I just use my hand?
You could use glacial decay. That's fine.
Okay.
You would see this large automaton kind of come to life, and it would state "Inevitable online," and looks around. Please state purpose of activation.
Headmaster Levin has lost his physical form, and he needs you to take over.
Processing. Reason accepted. Demise of Headmaster Levin.
Not demise.
Will resume Headmaster activities. Processing. It just completely blows you up at that point.
Yeah.
Affirmative. Groups of warriors from the Kathos region, the Ishtari Highlands, as well as the Great Journey, are here. Fighting Cosmokara. Assessment. Has Cosmokara been defeated?
Yeah, are you asking me? No, the space baby is still around.
Processing. We'll resume duties in fighting against Cosmikara. We'll need to assess with the warriors from the other regions. And you will literally just see this big thing walk around you and walk forward. He'll turn her over and will say, request Gideon leave the chamber.
Yeah. Yes. Inevitable.
And this giant automaton will walk out. All right. That ends today's kind of like in-between episode session of everything that's happened. Just needed to get a couple of things answered. So thank you guys so much for doing that today. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. So we will resume with Astral Academy next Thursday, most likely with the introduction of the Inevitable. The Inevitable will also be introducing themselves to all of the other groups, which are probably going to be going through some RP sessions of their own with the disappearance of Levin. But with the Inevitable, it can continue all of the essentially the basic stuff that was happening, which includes the ability to activate the teleport portals that Levin created before he left. So now the other campaigns are able to leave again. They're not stuck in the Astral. And it will also be able to assess certain data on how to fight off against Cosmikara. I would say more effectively than Levin could. But I'll have to do some checks behind the scenes and see what that is. So just to
Sweet.
check with everyone, is Gideon, you're resuming time magic as usual, continuing to fight against Cosmikara?
I think Gideon is definitely still in the fight. I don't think he is studying time magic anymore, though. Like, I think he has what he has, and he's kind of in this place of in between studies.
What is Tremor doing, Criken? Is he continuing the fight, or is he going to focus more on his necromancy?
Good question.
Also, if you don't have an answer, you don't have to answer right now. You can think about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an answer right now. I think he's still invested in the success of the project and the mission. But definitely lost a bit of his drive as, like, you know, a recruiter and someone to unite people against this. He's more doing it out of duty, and even then it's like, I think he's more interested in pursuing his specific school of magics,
right?
Especially knowing the ties between necromancy and Cosmikara. He thinks there's more codes to crack there, and is better suited in that fight, I guess, than, you know, the day-to-day. So I think he's gonna pull away a little bit from the like, you know, constant mission stuff, but still be like working towards that end.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know if that also means if Tremor kind of ends up more like either on a like a temporary basis, or if we're moving forward, we'll talk more about that, and we'll go forward with it. With the
we can talk between sessions. We can figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. But either way, thank you so much for doing this. This helps out a lot, so that the other sessions aren't stuck. And yeah, I appreciate that. I thought that was a lot of fun. Did you guys enjoy today's RP?
Yeah, I just want to say
Yes.
great work, Shady. Man, it's always intimidating when you're just like one-on-one RPing with someone, but I think the interactions we had were awesome and really.
Yeah, dude. Thank you too. I
really
feel I
authentic.
definitely feel that. I feel like it was a really good mesh, good vibe.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed. All
Yeah.
right.
I like the fact that there was still like Gideon could have died. I felt like that was really important.
Mhm.
That it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
just a
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, oh, we have the answers right
Free
now.
ride.
No, everything has a consequence, and and everything has a choice, and I think that's just the key thing. Levin has left a pretty big hole, I think, in everyone's like art right now. Some more impactful, some more, I guess, hurt than others, and I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface of what that is. So thank you for allowing us to explore that together. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Brett.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'll see you all later. I'll see you all next week.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.